to another episode of Hump Day Yoga with Mimi Presents. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today's class, a bit of a different concept. We're actually going to be doing a floor work only class. So playing with this idea of having a full beneficial practice where we don't actually come to standing, so we don't do any of our standing postures. And I wanted to do a class like this because I think there are some days where you're feeling really fatigued and just, especially if you've been on your feet all day at work, the idea of then continuing to do more standing postures can feel a little bit overwhelming. Also, sometimes it's nice to be closer to the earth for consistent periods of time because we tend to only do that when we're sleeping, to be sort of connected to the earth. And I wanted to play with that idea in a more mindful way. And also it's good if maybe your blood pressure is feeling a little bit off or you're feeling lightheaded and that action of coming up and down a lot is making you feel a bit funny or lightheaded. So with that, let's get started. So today we're starting cross-legged, nice square cross-legged, and if you'd like to sit up on a cushion like I currently am, feel free to do so. Make sure you're quite towards the edge of the cushion, not sitting directly in the center. Hands resting comfortably at your knees. Take a moment to take a deep breath in and shrug your shoulders up towards your ears. And then as you exhale, just let them soften and slide back down through the spine. Let's do that one more time. Inhale. Relax and soften on the exhale. Good. And then softly close your eyes if you haven't already. And begin to bring your awareness to your breath. As you breathe in and out through the nose. Not trying to actively change or alter the breath just yet. Simply noticing its natural rhythm and texture. Noticing if perhaps you're holding any tightness anywhere in the torso. Perhaps you're feeling a little congested, particularly as hay fever season. But be mindful of these things without judgment. And then taking a quick scan through the rest of the body as well to notice how it's feeling. Again, try not to hold judgment upon that awareness. Simply be present and aware. And hopefully, just by bringing that sense of mindfulness, you will feel that the breath has begun to naturally lengthen and slow without any conscious effort on your part. And in turn, perhaps that's been able to invite a sense of softness or surrender in the body. Allowed you a chance to let go of any unnecessary tension. So continuing to just keep the breaths nice, easy and gentle, in and out through the nose. Not worrying about the length particularly. Let's bring a little bit more fire and awareness into the abdominals now. So that every time that you exhale, I'd like you to consciously invite your belly button to draw in towards the back of your spine as you engage and contract your abdominal muscles. And then as you inhale, allow them to relax and release. So you're taking a really full deep breath in through the whole torso, not just the belly and the upper chest, but also through the lower back and the back of your upper spine. Inhale to open. And exhale to contract and engage through the core. Just continuing on for a few more rounds. And then after your next exhalation, begin to bring the awareness now more to the rest of the body so that focus for the abdominals is shifted slightly. You can reopen the eyes if that feels more comfortable for you, otherwise feel free to keep them closed. We'll move through a neck stretch, so as we exhale, we take our right ear down towards right shoulder. And we're just letting gravity do all the work here as we begin to open and lengthen through the left side of the neck. Good. If you'd like to take the stretch into the arm, you can hover that left arm so the fingers are just off the mat, energy right to the fingertips, and you'll feel that neural stretch now, down through the length of the arm. the end of your next exhalation, bring the hand back to the knee and inhale the head back to center. Exhale, left ear down towards the left shoulder. And again, consciously invite the right side of your neck to soften and relax. You can change the angle of where your chin is until you feel that sweet spot in the stretch. Feel free to do so. And then if you did so on the other side, lengthening that right arm out now so the fingertips are just hovering off the floor, off the mat. Energy right to the fingertips. Just a couple more breaths here. And then inhale, we take the hand and then the head back to center. Final neck stretch. Take the chin now down towards the chest and the hands come one at a time at the back of the skull, interlacing the fingers at the back of the head. And we're not forcing or grouping the head down towards our chest, we're just letting the weight of our arms encourage the chin to move a little closer as we deepen and lengthen the stretch through the back of the neck. As you hold here, see if you can actively breathe in between the shoulder blades as well. Good. At the end of the next exhalation, the hands soften to the knees, and then we inhale our head back to center. Let's take our hand to prayer at heart center, and we'll move through 3 rounds of our circle of joy. So we'll interlace those fingers. Inhale, take those elbows apart, but resist with your fingertips. So there's tension in the arms. And then exhale, press the palms forward, chin to chest, curving the spine into a C shape. Inhale, so nice and tall through the spine, shoulders relax away from the ears, lengthening up through both sides of the torso. And then exhale, take your hands behind you, interlace those fingers. Inhale, big open heart stretch, maybe looking up if it's comfortable for your neck. And then exhale, take those hands back to prayer. 2 more rounds, interlace those fingers. Inhale, imagine those balloons filling in through the rib cage. Exhale, belly button draws to the back of the spine. We curve through the whole spine. Inhale, sit up nice and tall, stretching through both sides of the torso. Exhale, hands come behind, interlace those fingers. Inhale, open heart stretch. See if you can actively draw the wrists together here. And then exhale, we take those hands back to prayer. Good. One more time. Change the cross of the fingers this time. So for most of us now, that's going to be left fingers forward. Inhale. Exhale, press and curve away. Inhale, so nice and tall, see if you can get an extra 0.5 millimeter. Exhale, take the hands behind you. Keep the opposite cross here, even though you can't see the hands. Inhale, big open heart stretch. And then exhale, take those hands back to prayer. Good. So big shout out to one of my old teachers, Sharon, who actually introduced me to Circle of Joy. I've yet to go to another class where any other teacher has done that little vinyasa flow, and it's one of my favorites. So thank you, Sharon. When we're ready to move on to the next step, just bring the weight back into your hands and then uncross and recross the legs. So now you have the opposite leg in front, just to mix up how we're sitting. Inhale, take those hands back up towards the sky. As you exhale, take your right hand down towards the mat. Inhale through the left side of the torso. And then exhale, we come into that little side crescent stretch, stretching through the left side of the chest. Inhale, see if you can take that elbow back, and as you do so, draw the shoulder away from your ears. And then as you exhale, keep the shoulder away from the ear as you bring those fingertips back out. Really relax through the neck again. Right ear coming down towards the right shoulder. Good. Make sure that both of your sitting bones, both of your buttocks are pressing down into the mat. And only if you feel ready should you exhale, maybe walk the hand a little further out. Possibly the elbow comes to the floor, but it depends on how open we're feeling through the side of the chest. One more deep breath in. And then as we exhale, instead of coming back up today, I'm going to still walk out. Hands towards the side, towards the right diagonal corner of our mat. And then we relax back down. You can allow the spine to curve here. Really bring the chin down towards the chest. We're just beginning to open up a little bit more through the back of the body and then in towards the hips and the glutes. Once you feel that sense of openness, again, walk those hands now so that we're more in towards the center of our mat. Relax and surrender down. Inhale, walking over towards that left corner now. And again, relax and soften down. Notice if there's a particular difference between your right and left corner, right and left side stretch. And then inhale, begin to walk all the way to that side crescent stretch on your left side. Now, if you get here and you think, oh, I feel like I'm a little bit out of alignment, feel free to come back up and then exhale. Press back in. Really draw the shoulder away from the ear. Relax left ear down towards the left shoulder. You want to create a big C curve shape through the whole side of the right torso. Good. And your gaze is wherever is comfortable for you. So some people like to look up at their hands, some people straight in front. Maybe you prefer to look down towards the floor. It's up to you. As you inhale, you feel that stretch in between the rib cage. Exhale, maybe the hand can work a little further out or the elbow draw just that little bit closer to the mat. One more deep breath in and out to hold. Engage through the core muscles on your exhale, and then inhale, the right arm leads you back up to seated. Good. From here, coming into our boat posture, so bringing those feet in front. Now, some of you might prefer to keep the cushion underneath you if you have one, particularly if you have a sensitive tailbone, but others will find that that's too much of an interruption or disruption between the connection of your pelvis to the earth. So I leave that up to you. I'm going to keep it under here today because I'm not using my mat for my practice today. So when we're ready, we draw those legs and feet in nice and close to the hips. Let's just start with a little hug and squeeze first in cosmic egg. Ooh, relax the forehead down towards the knees. And then inhale, bring the forehead back up. And our starting point today is to bring the hands so that they're clasping the knees and we just hover those toes off the mat. And this might be enough for us today, just holding here. If we're feeling a little sensitive in the lower back or any abdominal pain or discomfort, this might be enough for us today. We are working our abdominals even here. If we would like to go deeper though, we can move further into the boat posture by bringing the shins up so that they're parallel with the floor beneath us. Legs together as much as we can. And you can continue to have the hands underneath for support as you lift and lengthen through the spine. Good. If you want to take that step further, then the hands release away from the legs. And today, I'd like to play with this idea of us lifting the arms up towards the sky. I'm conscious that that's blocking my face from the screen. But you want to have a sense that the palms are reaching to the wall behind you, and we're lifting and lengthening up. Imagine someone's pulling on those fingers. Good. The great thing about boat is if you start to feel your hip flexors switch on or your belly begin to wobble too much, you can draw it back in. Take a breath in and out. Let your hips relax. And then when you're ready to come back out, exhale to engage those core muscles, and then inhale, we lift back up again. Really trying to draw up from the crown of the head so that we're lengthening the spine. And again, you can always take those hands to the legs for a bit of extra support. See if we can hold for another few breaths. I can feel myself wobbling. And then when we're ready, we draw those knees in. Good. So coming to our tabletop now, we can do that by either bringing the feet to one side and then pressing up with the hands. Or if you prefer, you can cross the legs again and then rock out from the knees, relaxing and releasing the feet behind you. Now, we're going to be in our tabletop for quite a while today, so I would recommend, if you have sensitive knees, to pad the knees with a blanket or a cushion, just so you have a little bit of extra padding. Or maybe you want to fold up your mat so that it's doubled up. Taking those hands back out, warming up through the wrists. So we're walking out through the wrist today. So really spreading our fingers wide, feeling though we're trying to press every part of the hand down into the mat. And instead of staying static here, I'd like you to explore just this idea of walking the wrists. So changing the angle and changing the distance apart. Basically, we're just trying to wake up the wrists. Yeah, we use our hands so much every day, but how often do we consciously engage with every sensation through the pad of the hand and how those sensations feed up in towards the wrists and into the arm? We're going to play with maybe hands coming closer into the knees, rocking the weight back. Maybe the hands come further away and we bring weight into the arms. Try not to lock into your elbows too much like I just did. Good. And if you want to bend the elbows a little bit, feel free to do so. But every movement you take, consciously considering how every pad of the hand presses down into the floor. Good. Lovely. And then when you feel like you've warmed up those wrists enough, they're feeling a little bit more responsive, take your hands back underneath your shoulders now into our traditional tabletop. We'll move through a few rounds of our cat-cow. So as we inhale, we tilt the tailbone towards the sky, draw the chest forward through the arms and lift the gaze slightly. As we exhale, we tuck our tailbone under, arch through the spine, chin to chest, curving into our cat. Inhale, reverse that motion now. Leading with the tailbone to start and keeping your core muscles engaged to protect your lower back. And then exhale, we tuck and curve under. So just continuing with that flow in your own time. Continuing to actively press through every part of the hand. Particularly on that cat. And you want to have a sense of feeling like you're lifting away from the earth. So it can be tempting sometimes to collapse into the arms, sink down. But we want to feel like we're always lifting up and away. Good. When you're ready, we inhale back to our neutral starting spine. And we'll move quickly through our thread the needle posture. So as we inhale, we'll take our right arm up towards the sky. Let your hips sway quite freely here, so you're getting a good stretch through the body. And then exhale, we activate through the core muscles as you reach with that right arm underneath the body to the opposite wall. Inhale, open twist, looking up if it's comfortable. Exhale, we thread and reach through. Inhale, last open twist. And then exhale, we thread and reach through. This time the right shoulder and the right side of the head relaxes onto the floor. Once you're there, you're actively pressing through the palm of the left hand or perhaps fingertips to deepen the twist, working towards stacking left shoulder on top of right. Relax as much as you can through the neck. And hold here for a few breaths. Feeling that activation through the back of the right shoulder. And then exhale, press through that left hand again to come back to your tabletop. Let's tuck our toes under and just hover the knees off the mat for a count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Softly let those knees come back down onto your prop or onto your mat, and we take it to the left. So we inhale, big open twist. Exhale, we thread and reach through. Inhale, big open twist. Exhale, we thread and reach through. Really activate through the abdominals to stretch that a little bit further. Inhale, big open twist. Exhale, this time we surrender the left shoulder and the left side of the head into the floor. Again, relax as much as you can through the back of the neck. And then actively press through the palm of the right hand or maybe even right fingertips to deepen that internal twist, stacking your right shoulder on top of the left. Hold here for a number of breaths. And then exhale, press through the palm of the right hand to bring yourself back up to your tabletop. Good. From here, we're going to tuck our back toes under again, but this time with the hands a little further away from the shoulders. Really spread those fingers wide. We're coming up into our downward dog now. So that as we exhale, we press the earth away from us, sending our hips up nice and high. So as we press back into downward facing dog, the knees can be nice and bent so that the focus is more on sending the tailbone up high to the sky, lengthening through the spine and drawing the heart center towards the thighs. Actively rotate those shoulders out and up the spine. Then when you're ready, you can begin to walk your dog, alternate heel presses. Beginning to warm up and open up through the back of the legs. So you take one heel down towards the mat and bend the opposite knee. Move as fast or as slow as feels right for you. I like a more sort of slow, luscious stretch, but some people like to move a little faster to build heat. And if you want to take movement into the hips, rocking and swaying them gently from side to side, feel free to do so. That's going to take the stretch up a little bit more into the hips and to the torso and pelvis. Good. The next time that you heel press to the left, let that be your last one. Inhale to the balls of both feet, working to a higher down dog. Maybe the legs can straighten, maybe they don't, it's fine. And then as you exhale, take an audible sigh and let the heels melt effortlessly towards the floor. Use your breath as a tool and mechanism here. Good. Really establishing that lovely long length through the back of the legs. Then when we're ready, we'll inhale to drop the knees down towards the mat and just come into a little bit of another baby cow. Tuck toes, exhale, press back. Good. So let's take that as a bit of a flow. Let's keep the toes tucked this time so that we can move between the sequences. Inhale to come down. Open and broaden through the heart center. Exhale, we press back, scooping back, almost like a reverse snaking motion through the torso. Inhale forwards. And then exhale back. Good. From here, moving into our low lunge, let's inhale, take right leg up nice and high. Exhale, scoop it to the front of the mat in between the hands. Use your cushion or blanket again as a prop if you want to struggle. Dropping the knee down towards the mat. Adjust as you need to. Make sure that the right foot is further enough forward so that the knee is directly above the ankle and not beyond it. Once we're here, engage your core muscles, press through the sole of the right foot, and then inhale up into your easy half lunge. Exhale, soften the hips towards the floor, while at the same time drawing the top of the right thigh towards the mat. Inhale, we lift and lengthen. Exhale, soften shoulders away from your ears. Hold for one more deep breath in. Can we see if we can find that a little bit more length, not just through the front of the torso, but also the back. And then exhale, take both hands back down towards the mat. We're going to move through some retractions now, working the hips back in space so we can begin to open and lengthen through the front leg. Relax the torso over the leg. And then inhale, come back to your supported half lunge, coming up to fingertips and opening and broadening through the chest. Exhale, we retract back. And then inhale, we come forwards. So just really opening and warming up through the hip and through the back of that right leg. Good. And then once you've done a few rounds, moving forwards and back with a square orientation of the hips, you might like to experiment with changing the angle of the hips and the positioning of the arms. So again, we always inhale to come forwards and then exhale to come back. And just noticing how that's changing the stretch, not just through the legs, but also through the torso. Good. The next time that you inhale to come forward, let that be your last one. So go back off through the hips and the sole of the feet. Ground those palms back down into the mat. Tuck your back toes under and then press back into downward facing dog. We're going to move from vinyasa flow. So just gently move your prop out of the way if it's a slightly bulkier one. And then when we're ready, we'll inhale forward to our full plank. Exhale, take those knees softly towards the mat. Elbows so tight to the body as we slowly lower down through half plank. Press the tops of your feet and your pubic bone into the floor. And then as you inhale, lengthen through the spine to come into gentle baby cobra. Relax and soften through the shoulders. Make sure they're not putting too much weight to the hands. You could take them away if you wanted to. And then exhale, let's soften back down. Let's treat that as our warm-up. We'll come up once more, but this time I want you to think that your belly button is engaging so much that it's going to pop off the floor as you exhale. So inhale to rest. Exhale to engage the core. Feel the belly button lift. And then inhale, lengthen through the back of the spine. So the back of the neck stays long. You're just looking slightly forward. You shouldn't be looking directly ahead because you're going to crink through that lovely neck. Then exhale, we soften back down. Bring a little bit of weight into the knees so that you can inhale back through your half plank. Exhale, take the weight back, tuck your toes under, press back to downward facing dog. Taking it to the other side. Inhale, lift the left leg up nice and high. Exhale, scoop it to the front of the mat and in between the hands, lightly landing it there. Bring that little padding for underneath the right knee if you need to. Walk the left foot further forward. Again, engage through the core. Inhale up, easy half lunge. Exhale, soften the hips towards the mat. Draw the front of this right thigh towards the front of your room. Good. Imagine those fish hooks behind, through that back of the rib cage, lifting you up. And as you exhale, soften shoulders away from the ears, soften face. Good. One more deep breath in. And then exhale, we take those hands back down towards the mat. And again, we work through that retraction. Exhale, we come back. Inhale, we come forward. So a few rounds with the hips square to the front. And again, as you retract back, the legs don't have to completely straighten. We're working towards it, but if there's a little bend in the knee, that's okay. And then once you feel that leg begin to open, if you want to change the positioning of the arms and the legs, or the angle of where the toes are, feel free to do so. Moving through a few more rounds, nice and slow and steady. And the next one that you inhale forwards, let that be your last one. Square back off through the hips and straighten the foot to the front. Ground those palms down, tuck your toes under. Just press back into downward facing dog. Moving through another vinyasa flow of your choice. So again, moving the prop out of the way. Half plank and cobra again, perhaps. Or maybe this time you'd like to try with inhaling forward to full plank, weight forward into the arms. Exhale, lower the hips so they're just hovering off the mat, toes stay tucked under. Inhale, variation for upward dog. Exhale, we press back into that lovely downward dog. Change the alignment if you need to for the feet and hands. Keep rotating the shoulders out and up the spine. Good. Lovely. This time take that inhale, bring the right leg up nice and high. Exhale, scoop it to the front of the mat in between the hands. We're going to stay in our supported high lunge. Ground down through the left hand. Inhale, twist towards our right, looking up at those right fingers. Make sure you're still putting energy through the big right toe so that your kneecap stays pointing out over the toes. One more deep breath in. And then as we exhale, take the right hand down now so it's on the inside edge of the right foot. And we're just going to transition into our side angle, Skandasana. Good. Even here, think about where your knee is pointing. Is it still pointing out over your toes? Or have you left your knee behind or your toes behind? You want them to turn together. So staying in supported variation on this side. I'm going to pivot so that you can see my legs better. So working those left toes up towards the sky. Good. And then using the hands for support, we're going to walk over towards our left side. So our right toes are now pointing up. Good. We're just holding here. So this is our warming up side, really. Just feeling that stretch through the legs, supporting ourselves with the earth beneath us. Spine is long, neck is relaxed. Good. Let's take it back to the other side. So we're working towards the front of our mat once more. And then we'll turn back to supported high lunge, adjusting this foot as you need to. Ground down for those palms, and again, press back into downward facing dog. Move through another vinyasa flow of your choice. So we've already established 2 that you can choose from. If you'd like to introduce a third, perhaps we're inhaling forward to full plank, exhaling down in one straight line to Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Got a little close to my TV cabinet then. And exhale, we press back, downward facing dog. So moving on to our left side now, we inhale the left leg up nice and high. Exhale, scoop it to the front of the mat in between the hands. This time we ground down through our right hand. Inhale, twist towards our left. Looking up at those top left fingers. Again, keep the belly and the thigh nice and close together. Kneecap pointing out over those toes. One more deep breath in, and then as we exhale, we take the left hand onto the inside edge of the leg. And again, we transition into our side angle. So here we're on the left side angle posture. And again, you can choose to keep your hands on the mat for support, or if you'd like to challenge your balance slightly, take those hands off and come to prayer. Good, really engage through the core. We're going to transition again to the back of our mats that we're in our right side angle. So inhale, coming up, and then exhale, release. Good. So it's about as much of a stand that we'll probably achieve in the entire class. Lengthen through the spine. Let's come back towards our front side of the mat. Inhale, exhale. Woo. Good. And then again, the hands come back down towards the mat for support. And we transition to our supported high lunge. Exhale, press back into downward facing dog. Lovely. Now perhaps you'd like to hold here in your downward dog, building endurance. Maybe you want to take a little rest in your child's posture. It's up to you. If you'd like to move through another vinyasa flow, we do so now. Inhale forwards, full or half plank. Exhale to lower down, half plank or full. Inhale to cobra or a variation of your upward dog. Exhale back out over knees and toes into downward facing dog. Good. From here, we're going to take a little bit of a bunny hop of the feet towards the front of the mat, either side of our hands. So we're coming into Malasana. Good. If you didn't quite make it, that's okay. Walk your feet up until they do, and adjust as you need to as well. So you might need to take the feet further apart, closer together, wherever you need to, so that you can feel you're sitting back comfortably in your Malasana squat. So I'm going to shimmy back a little bit just so you can see my feet. So if you'd like to come into a co-balance today, feel free to do so in your own time. But personally, for this class, because we're talking about being grounded, I want to explore a more yin Malasana. So we're going to keep aiming to draw the heels towards the mat. Knees working over the toes. Let's start with our prayer position first, Anjali Mudra. Hands in prayer, you're working your elbows into the thighs or inner knees, and at the same time drawing the thighs or inner knees together. So there's this dynamic squeeze. See how that allows you to lengthen and lift through the spine. Good. Nice deep breaths in and out. And then when you're ready, let's take the slightly more yin variation by allowing the spine to curve forward, bringing the backs of our hands towards the earth. Whew. Chin to chest, and just really surrender down. So here we're using the structural support of our body. It's architecture to hold us up. There's minimal effort going on through the muscles, it's a bit of awareness through the abdominals and through the thighs, but for the most part, we should feel quite relaxed and supported by the earth beneath us. Let gravity continue to draw your pelvis close to the floor and to release tension through the spine. Lovely, lovely, lovely deep hip stretch. So to come out of our Malasana Squat, we inhale to lift and lengthen through the spine so that we can look forward. Bring your weight forward, so bring it off the heels, bring it down into the hands so that you can simply just walk back comfortably into your downward facing dog. Give your head a few little shakes, nods, just to release any tension you might be holding there. From here, let's inhale our right leg up nice and high once more, and then exhale, come into an ab curl, bringing the knee towards the head and the weight into the arms. And then inhale to come back to three-legged dog. This time as we exhale, we'll take the knee to the outside edge of our left elbow. Inhale, come back up. Moving through that internal ab curl one more time. Exhale to curl. And then this time we're going to lengthen that right leg out and then slide and release down into our deer posture. So what we're doing here is trying to create an L shape through our legs. So if I pivot and turn, you can see it's this capital L shape. Okay? Once you're here, you want the front right leg to be externally rotating out so that the pinky toe is pressing into the floor. And then this back left leg is internally rotating, so your big toe is pressing into the floor. From here, the hands come in front. So we inhale to lift and lengthen. Take a slight exhale to twist to look over the left shoulder. Now, you should hopefully be feeling a bit of a stretch through the outside edge of this right leg, particularly if the leg is activated and you're drawing the kneecap up towards your hip. Abdominals engage as well. You might want to hold here. You might be really enjoying this sense of spiraling motion right from that back left leg all the way up to the crown of the head. Or if you prefer, you can square off slightly more through the hips and take the heart center down towards the floor to surrender and soften downwards. Forehead relaxed, chin to chest. Good. Stop where you feel that first point of resistance and hold there. Give your body a chance to open and soften up into the posture. And then as the hip begins to open and the spine begins to release, maybe you can move a little deeper. Perhaps even bringing the forehead towards the floor as the hands reach forward. And we're going to hold here for a number of breaths to really get the full benefit of the stretch. Surrender and appreciate the support of the earth beneath you. Keep that little bit of engagement, particularly through this front leg. And then when we're ready to release, we inhale to look forward. Exhale. Excuse me, my hay fever is going crazy. Exhale, walk the hands back in. And from here, energy engagement through core and the arms, we're going to unwind. So bring that weight into the hands. Use your back leg for support to pick that right leg up and push back into downward facing dog. We move through the same sequence on the left. So we inhale, left leg up nice and high. Exhale, ab curl through the center first. Knee towards head, weight into the arms. Inhale to lift and lengthen back. And then exhale, internal twist. Left knee to the outside edge of the right elbow. And then inhale back. Exhale, let's take that again. This time lengthen the leg. And then we slide out into that capital V. Again, adjust as you need to, so you've got lots of space. We're engaging through this front left thigh, pinky pressing down in towards the floor, internally rotating through the back leg. Fingertips to start with, inhale to lift and lengthen. Feel as though you're really spiraling right from that back right leg all the way to the crown of the head as you gently twist towards your left. Looking over that left shoulder. Good. And then perhaps you'd like to stay there. Maybe this twist is what's really floating me boat today. Otherwise, square off a little bit more towards the front end of your mat and then lower down slowly. Relax through the back of the neck. Again, try not to race or rush into the posture. Give your body a chance really to open up. And as always, if you're feeling any strong sense of discomfort, any sharp pains, come out of the posture and move into a different glute stretch that suits you better. Maybe a simple thread the needle or a modified deer where you have both legs bent. Yeah. Holding for a few more breaths. Maybe you can release the forehead to the floor, either stacking the forehead onto the hands, whether they're flat or fisted, or the hands forward, forehead to the floor. A few more breaths here. When we're ready to come up, we inhale to look forward, and then exhale, use your hands to walk your torso upright and bring the hands back in towards the pelvis. Take this right hand behind you and use it to just help bring that right leg in, and we're going to slide straight back towards the front, towards our road posture. Walk the flesh out from underneath the buttocks so that you can really feel that you're sitting on both buttocks, nice and even, sitting bones pressing into the floor. From here, we'll come to our bound ankle posture, Baddha Konasana, by drawing those legs and feet together. So feet together, I should say. Imagine you've moved the soles of the feet together and the knees are knocking out towards the side. Okay? Traditionally, in bound ankle, we bring the heels quite close to the pelvis. I'd like to take a more yin variation today, so take quite a wide diamond shape through the legs. Hands resting on the shins. Inhale to lift and lengthen through the spine. And then as we exhale, the heart center leads. Maybe you're bringing the forearms to either side of the shins. Just guide you a little further forward. And then when you've hit that edge, allow yourself to release and relax. So there can be a bit of a curve in the spine here. Chin to chest. Just make sure that you're not collapsing through the chest. So we're not hunching forward. We're just allowing a natural curve because this is the way gravity is bringing our spine down. And if you want to take it a little bit more passive, you can release the hands from the legs and bring the backs of the hands onto the floor like we just did in Amarasana. And release. So by doing this, we're fully surrendering towards the earth, but we're remaining open to the energy of the room surrounding us. Also, that external rotation of the arms can help to open your heart center a little bit as well. Hold here for a number of breaths. It can feel quite subtle at first. You might not feel that much. But as you continue to hold, you'll begin to feel the stretch more deeply, perhaps through the lower back. Maybe today you're feeling it more in the inner thigh, groin. Maybe you can feel it more up and around the neck if you've got a lot of tension in the neck today. Good. To release, we inhale to look forward. Exhale, use your hands to help walk your torso back upright. Hands either side of the knees to draw them together. Knees into chest, wrap the arms around legs. Exhale, forehead comes to the knees. And we pause there for a few breaths and our cosmic egg. Good. Inhale to take the forehead back up off the knees. And we'll come down towards our mat now for our final little stretch before Shavasana. So positioning yourselves to you're about in the middle of your mat. Use your elbows to help guide you down. Arms are either in a T-shaped position or perhaps cactus arms, with the elbows lining up with the shoulders. From here, draw those knees in towards the chest. Glue them together. As you exhale, take the knees all the way towards your left. Once they're there, the feet should completely relax into the floor. If you feel that the feet don't relax, they're hovering off the mat slightly, straighten the legs until they do completely relax and release down. And then as you exhale, this right shoulder blade is going to melt back down towards the mat, perhaps allowing your gaze to turn towards. Sorry, that's your right arm. Holding for a few more breaths, recalibrating the spine at the end of our practice. And then when we're ready to release, draw the gaze back towards the ceiling, even if the eyes are still closed. And then inhale, right knee and then left knee up towards center. Give a little shuffle or readjust if you need to. And then exhale, we take those knees all the way to the right side of our mat this time. And again, allow them to completely release and relax. You might even want to take this right hand and just hold it over right knee on right thigh to bring a little bit more extra weight there, helping to allow you to surrender into the twist. Then as you exhale, that left shoulder blade melts down into the floor. And if it's comfortable for the head, we turn the gaze, whether eyes are open or closed, towards that left arm or left elbow. Again, just holding for a few more breaths to take a really nice detoxive squeeze of those internal organs. One last chance to surrender and release towards the earth and to appreciate its support. And then when you're ready to release, again, we're going to return the head and the gaze towards center. Relax that right arm if it's been holding onto the leg. And then inhale the left leg and then the right knee back in. Wrap the arms around the legs, give them a nice little hug and squeeze. Maybe a gentle rock from side to side. So you're massaging through the lower back. Maybe even taking a couple of circles of the knees. A few times to the left and a few times to the right. And then when you're ready to transition into Shavasana, you have, as always, two options. Maybe you'd like to keep the soles of the feet on the mat quite wide, knees bent and knocked together. Great to help release the hips or the lower back if you tend to feel tension in those areas during relaxation. Or we can move to a traditional Shavasana with the legs out nice and long, feet a very generous hip width distance apart, toes flopping out to the side. Wherever you are, take your hands behind your head for a second just to lift up the skull, lengthen out the back of the neck, and then release the head back down. Arms are perhaps beside the body, palms facing up. Or perhaps you'd like to bend at the elbows and press the palms in at the belly. Feel free to try both options until you settle into a position that feels comfortable for you. Making any last little wriggles or adjustments that you need to in the body so that you can allow yourself to completely relax. We bring the awareness once more to the breath, not to try to actively change or alter it, but simply to use it as a vehicle for our relaxation. So that as we exhale, we can feel the whole back of our body sinking and melting down into the floor. And then as we inhale, we feel the whole front half of the body become really light, open and spacious. Open to receiving the energy in the room. Eyes are softly closed, and the jaw and the mouth is really soft. Maybe there's a soft, subtle smile at the lips. Let go of any tension you might be feeling around fingers, toes, palms or soles of feet. So you allow the flesh of the shin and the calves to melt away from the bones. Front and back of knee is soft. Front and back of thigh relaxed. And allow the whole back of your pelvis, hips, lower back, spine, vertebrae and shoulder blades to melt and fuse down into the floor. And as you inhale, the belly is soft, allowing for nice deep, easy breaths. Hips relax, heart center open, collarbones and jaw soft. Your arms are completely relaxed wherever they may be. Bringing attention back up towards the face again. Making sure you're not holding any tension around the cheeks, particularly at the eyes and at the back of the eye socket, or around the forehead or temples. Just feel the whole of the skull open and release. And if any thoughts begin to bubble up into the mind, acknowledge them. Acknowledge any external distractions, but then gently press them to one side, not letting anything intrude into this moment of peace and relaxation. Your Shavasana. pause for a few more moments in your Shavasana, feel free to do so. If you'd like to re-enter the space of the room, continue on with your day, we'll begin to bring some more awareness into the breath as you breathe in and out through the nose. Really noticing your belly rise and fall, and perhaps taking an audible exhale out through the mouth. Bring a little bit of movement to your fingers and toes, giving them a wriggle, noticing skin rubbing on skin. Good. And then allow your head to turn from side to side, to massage through the back of the skull, and to reawaken the muscles of the neck. As your head returns to its center alignment, complete any last little stretches that feel right for you, whether that's inhaling into a full body stretch, fingers and toes pointing away from the body for a little wriggle, or maybe it's drawing the knees back in towards the chest for another little final hug and squeeze, rock from side to side. Let your instincts guide you into any last little movements or stretches that feel right for you, anything at all. And then only when you feel completely ready should you roll over onto your right side and pause there for a moment in a fetal position, giving your body one last chance to re-enter the space of the room. With your eyes still softly closed, use your hands to help gently press you back up into a comfortable seated or kneeling position of your choice, not worrying too much about where you end up facing. Hands resting comfortably at the thighs or the knees. Realign through the spine. Crown of the head reaching towards the sky as the tailbone drops to the floor. Heart and core centered. Bring awareness to your breath once more and simply notice any changes that might have occurred there from the start of the class till now. You notice these changes without judgment or attachment, just a sense of mindfulness. We'll take our hands to prayer at heart center, Anjali Mudra. Bow our forehead down towards our fingertips. Take this moment to truly thank yourself for taking the time of your day to calm and practice yoga, to dedicate your time to this inward journey. And I'd like to conclude the class with one chant of the mantra Om. You can join in simply by listening. If you'd like to chant with me, we'll synchronize the breath by all exhaling here. And then taking a deep breath in for Om. You carry a sense of peace with you, and these beautiful vibrations to the rest of the day and the rest of the week. Thank you for coming and practicing with me today in this online virtual space. As always, if you have any questions about the practice, feel free to drop them in the comments or any requests that you might have. I release new videos every Wednesday at 9 a.m, so do feel free to click that subscribe or that like button. And until I see you next, have a wonderful day.